Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Friday, July 5th, 2024. Welcome, everybody. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. Today, we're going to go through SPY on multiple time frames. We're doing this video about 2 o'clock to about 2:20 p.m. intraday Eastern Time. If you want to get these videos during this time, then go ahead and support the channel. It's 99 cents. And otherwise, it'll be published at 4 p.m. for the public. So let's dive into it. We're going to go through SPY and monthly time frame all the way down to the 65, and then we're going to check out VIX side by side so we can see what's happening. VIX is going up, SPY is going up. What the heck is going on? Well, let's see. So we have SPY on the monthly time frame. We're going from 2000 top here. We have the 2021 top. We're right on that uptrend line there. So this month could possibly form a doji here. We could get on top and then fake break. A couple situations that could happen. I do suspect we'll get, we're looking for a reversal month here. Going into these time factors that we'll be looking at, we've talked over and over on the last video. So if you want to look at any of these past videos, they're going to represent a storyline. As we get more information, we're going to put it out there. So make sure you hit that notification button. Let's go down to the weekly time frame. Well, you know what? Let me show this monthly candle a little bit closer, right on that downtrend line right there. Okay, so we had this consolidation, broke out from it, and we're continuing to move higher. I do suspect we're at minimum going to test this 8 EMA before anything else, but we're really getting to some major resistance, and I'll show you what those are as we go in the lower time frame. So on the weekly, we'll first start off with the traditional technical analysis, and we have right here a channel forming, possible channel. We have the uptrend lines here that we keep riding up to. Had two weekly reversal candles getting above there, and we're back at that resistance again. So I do suspect that we get some sort of pullback off of here and possibly keep climbing this thing. But I'll show you how that might look on the lower time frames. This is, I said potential channel because the lower part of the channel only has one touch there. So although this is a valid trend line here, I'll show you another one that shows more of an expanding sort of formation on the Elliott wave Fibonacci boards that I have. But the most important takeaway from here is that we're at resistance again. So looking into the weekly time factors here, time and price, okay? We're looking for this 162% extension from this correction here, from 2021 into 2022. This correction, we're taking the retracement from the top to bottom. We worked through the retracements here. We thought we possibly could get a reversal, but price held this point and continued higher. That's when we start working our extensions. There, or you can still consider them retracements. A 127.2 retracement from this move here. We wrapped around there, held onto the 8 EMA, regained that 20-week moving average, and continue to push higher. Now we're stone's throw away from that 559, or you can just round it off to 560. That will be our last target going into this time cluster right here. And we're looking at the end of July. So a week apart, you have the 21, 23rd, and 29th. And it just so happens that FOMC is on the 31st. Of July. So we'll be looking at this nice time cluster, and it looks like we're just gonna pretty much grind straight to it. So we have a couple weeks to get to our target. So we might be looking for just a little bit of a pullback off of the trend line, but it appears that the dip will be bought again. Okay, let's move down to the weekly or to the daily time frame. First, take a look at the traditional technical analysis, and that we look over and over. It's just a bearish rising wedge. In the last video, we played out the scenario. We're back at that wedge top here. A perfect short, it's short term, but short setup here. So we did go short just a few minutes ago once again. And so this scenario did not play out. We did not reach that bottom here. And so now we even have a more steep trend line that we'll have to look out for as well. Price is kind of accelerating and getting higher there. Now, will that hold? I don't know, because again, just like I said here, it just seems a little bit more of a valid situation if price reverses off here, goes down to test the wedge. That will waste some time, and perhaps that goes down into that July 21st or so, or maybe this just takes a couple days. I don't know what the time frame will be. We'll look on the lower time frames, but I'll keep this off of here for now. So we'll have that steep trend line that you have to break down to. Then we have a wedge bottom. So we're going to stay bullish. Once again, say it over and over, we're going to stay bullish above this wedge, okay, at this trend line. And then I think if we test any point here, maybe we just test the top of this line here, and then we move higher into our 560. We're going to constantly reiterate that. This is our wedge top here, 560. I'll even put the arrows here, and that's about we'll put it at the end of the 7. So this will be the exact time and price we're looking for right here at the end of the week. And so we'll leave this just how it is. I think this is less likely scenario is if the wedge breaks down. Could happen, but if the wedge breaks down and then back test before heading lower. So I think this is the less likely scenario. We're looking to just kind of oscillate through here. So if this is a wave 4, if this move is done here, and I'll actually say this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move is complete, then we have one more structure to play out. So that might be another wave 4, which typically goes into the lesser degree wave 4. So we have all this volume here to play with. And so if we get a correction back into that price level of about 545 or so, that would be very natural. And that's where the wedge bottom will play. And then we get one last move up to hit that 560 target. What a move so far, huh? So 560 is about right here. So, this time factor might be, and it's not going to be exact. It's not going to be 560 on the dot. So the time factor is somewhere around the end of July. All right, so that's the gist of this video. Again, if you're watching these videos, make sure you check out or you play these videos in a faster form so you can get this information faster, unless you're trying to learn. If you're trying to constantly learn, then feel free to play this all the way through. But I know some people are in a rush and they just want to see where you think the market's going. So play it through. So we already came to this 7-1. We got a bottom. Right here, we had this cluster at 7-1. We got a new low here with a doji. So that played out perfectly. I was not sure that low would be the case, but let's go ahead and hide this. Hide these clusters here. We no longer need them. And now we're into another cluster here at 5-6. Okay, so we were looking at, I just made a video with Tesla, and this is exactly coinciding with Tesla. So I do think that's a good indicator. We're at a resistance zone. We're into time and price. So I think we might get some sort of shallow pullback from this time and price here. And so again, our clusters here on the daily time frame coincide with the weekly time frame, which makes this very, very concerning or valid for a trade setup. And so we're looking at the end of July. We have a couple. We have 21 and then going into 24, 26. But that's a nice cluster there. And then 7:30 here, along with FOMC at July 31st. So I do suspect maybe we just hold this once resistance, the 150 That was our second target. Technically our third. If you have the 127, we hit the 138, had resistance up there, got above. Now we're at the 150 and we're getting above. So we may just come back, retest it, and head off to our last target into these time factors at around 5. And in this one, I have 561. So I'll have to tighten that up, make sure both match. And let's see what that looks like on the, well, let's show the, what this looks like in that alternate scenario. But we've been monitoring this look for just months on months, this expanding ending diagonal. And so that's what we're hitting back above this spot here. And so what I was trying to represent with this one, it just so happens with the top of this wedge, look at that, into 561 perfectly. And it's at the end of July. This scenario fits perfectly, not how it's drawn necessarily there, but how the target intersects with this top of the wedge into the 162 retracement. Okay, so yes, I have to move this over. We get some sort of correction here, and we're looking for possibly a move like that. Could it be deeper? Sure. Doesn't have to be exactly played out like this, just the time factor going into the end target. Now let's go to the 65. And then I'll go through the VIX. All right, we have the top of the wedge playing at this top here. This top here, we're right back at that top. So we played a short play on here. Now we're looking for some sort of reversal. And that could be, we'll look at the VIX. This could be the end of one move, and this could be a wave 4. So wave 4s can be anything. This can be a triangle. This can be a flat. Whatever happens in here, it shouldn't go much further than this volume. We'll have a volume shelf from all this trade here, this previous wave 4, and should hold one of these trend lines. We'll have a steeper one here as well. I might as well draw that in now. And with the wave 4, I doubt that's going to hold, but because with this time factor in here, we have time and price going on into this. This is right here. This is the resistance. We have to get to there, and we'll have to break out above to do that, and then it just messes everything up. So I do think that we'll break down from this trend line and start to work prices down into this area. So I thought that we were going to get into this zone here, but this shallow retracement was a expanding flat where you had A, expanded B, make a new high, and made a new low off of this move. So an expanded flat off into the trend line there. And now I do think we have a good chance, and I'll work out some retracements and stuff like that, but we can do that on the next board. I do think we'll play around in this area here. Okay, we had the kind of a flag here at a channel. We broke out from the channel. I think that'll break down. All right, looking at that from the Elliott point of view, we have these time factors that we're into right now. This is today. And so I do think we get our reversal today. We also have a nice little expanding kind of wedge here. And so I do think this will play back to the bottom of that wedge. And I think that this will somewhat hold or just, fake break down here. I was labeling it A, B, C, D, E. I'm not sure if that's going to be the real case for this, but the whole point is after we get our correction, I do think this is going to head back higher into more time factors. So as we get our possible reversal here, it does look complete. Then we'll be looking for another time factor that we'll get into at lower prices. So that might be going into next week. We have July 8th, July 9th. But again, this could be a sideways move for a little bit. So maybe we go into somehow July 12th. after a correction is done, and then move higher from there. So that's what we'll be monitoring, where price is going into these clusters. Remember, price does not show us direction, but when we get a directional move like we did this move into that time factor, that's when we're looking for a trade. So now our trade is short for reversal, but it's short term. We're not ready for the top to be in. Could it? Absolutely. Absolutely. This thing could, show a top here, and then as price goes down, an alternate scenario is it goes down into the 31st. Maybe that's where we get our bounce higher. So, but right now everything is bullish. We're above all 8 EMAs. We're just looking for a correction at this point, and we're so close to that 560 target that I think into the end of the month we'll be looking. We have a nice cluster here at the 23rd, which matches with the weekly and the daily time frames. So maybe that's our top here going into 560. So I'll sort of play this like this. I'll move these over here, and maybe we get some sort of correction into time and price, and then a grind higher into the top there. All right, so that's how we'll be playing it, and we continue to look for long setups and individual names as we play down on the market. For example, Square, we're looking for a short on Tesla. We're in calls in Square. We have calls in Baidu. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the VIX. We'll start off on the weekly time frame so we can get a larger point of view. Weekly. And that way you get a big picture of what we're looking at. This is a bullish falling wedge. Eventually this wedge is going to break out. We're probably going to have a larger move than this. This is going to show, after we break out from this wedge, a recessionary move. We're getting to the apex of this wedge. All right, by the end of the year here, I do think we're going to see a breakout, and that's going to bring us into probably a couple years. The VIX will go higher, but it tops before the market bottoms. So either way, I'm getting ahead. I do think that this is going to break out. That's all I want to show there. We could have some divergences. I have not checked. Yeah, we're starting to form bullish divergence. Each time we make a new low, we perhaps may make a new low going into that next new high that I was talking about. So this is so volatile. You have all these wicks that you can play with, but I was playing with all of these bottoms here. So and technically, if we make brand new highs again after this correction, the price action could go a little bit lower to make a new low, and then I think that will be it for our move. So going down to the daily. Daily trend is our friend. Where you at? There you at. Okay, now that's our downtrend line from that wedge. And here, the $12 mark, I have that as a green. That's usually our buy zone. It's complacency. I have it marked as extreme complacency. Look at this reversal candle we're getting here. I do think with this correction, we have a smaller little wedge there, and even a channel that I drew in there that we're back testing. Maybe we get a push off of that. Go test possibly test the 200-day moving average again, but I think it's less likely that we move much higher than that after this. If we start to break the 200 and especially the 1550 area here, then I think the wedge is breaking down from SPY, that bearish rising wedge, and then we'll have to look into a more bearish scenario happening sooner with a back test. Okay, so I do think this move, we made just a slight new low into our complacency area. I do think we get the spike possibly up to the 200 moving average. On the 65-minute, you can see how we have that extreme complacency mark there, and then we keep getting these divergences into this mark. Same thing back here, same thing here, and we get a bounce, which means the market had a correction. And same thing here. We had a bullish divergence, and price for VIX is still going up as SPY start to get into those reversal areas. So this could easily spike through, or maybe it makes a higher low, but I do think this breaks this structure here. All right, this looks like it's some sort of ABC structure, and this could be just a move from up here, a correction, and make maybe just a new high up here to 15 or so, or pretty flat, maybe just testing the highs around 15. Okay, and then I do think this makes either a higher low as the market makes new all-time highs and stretches out to that 560, 561 area, or this really starts to fade and it gets a slight new low underneath here. So we just have to keep watching VIX to see, if VIX is tanking, then the market's grinding up into the end of July into our target. If the VIX continues to go higher, then we suspect, unless there's a huge wick, then we'll suspect that the wedge is breaking down for SPY. All right, so that's what we'll be looking for. This is how we monitor things. There's all sorts of other, maybe during the weekend, I'll go through the different divergences that we look at in order to know that it's such an extreme and huge top in the market. We're so close. So be careful and happy trading. Have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.